Hello, welcome to Intro to Drum Set. I'm your teacher, Jesse Schulzeberger. This is Lesson 1. So in this lesson, we're going to be talking about a couple of things. First of all, we're going to talk about some basic history of the drum set. Where did this drum set come from? We're going to talk about the parts of the drum set as we do that. We're going to learn how to hold our sticks. And then we're going to learn a couple basic rudiments. Rudiments are the building blocks of drumming. They're your basic vocabulary. Okay? So drums hand drums have been around for thousands and thousands of years, but the drum set as we know it is a relatively new thing. Really until about 1880s is when it really started to catch on. And it started with this idea of double drumming. And what that was one drummer would play a bass drum and a snare drum. And it was a way for bands to only pay one drummer. They didn't have to hire two people to play drums. They could get one drummer to cover both. And maybe those drummers were playing some early jazz or ragtime music. Maybe they were playing a beat that sounded maybe like this. As music evolved and as the instrument evolved, drummers started adding new pieces to the puzzle, namely the hi-hat. That was a big thing that came in, and that hi-hat allowed drummers to now play a ride pattern on that hi-hat. And then they started adding a bunch of other pieces to the drum set. Cymbals, tom-toms, cowbells, all kinds of things, tempo blocks. So let's take a look at all the parts on the drum set, and we'll explain that to you. Here you can see the overhead view of the drum set. Notice here down on the bottom, we have this big drum. This big drum is called the bass drum. And its sound is produced by hitting it with the bass drum pedal, which sits under your right foot. I hit that pedal, it turns the lever, and we make a boom. From there we have the snare drum. The snare drum on the drum set likes to sit right between our knees. The snare drum sounds like this. That snare drum came from the marching band world. And what makes the snare drum so special is that on the bottom of the drum, it has these wires. These wires are called snares, and they give the snare drum its unique sound. When the top of the head is hit, sound vibrations and air travels through the drum, vibrates this bottom head, and activates these snares, giving it its unique tone. From there we have the tom-toms. This drum set has three. The ones that sit on top of the bass drum are often called the ride toms or the rack toms. And the one that sits over here on the floor is the floor tom. So, like I said, this drum set has three. Some drum sets may only have two. Some drum sets may have 10, depending on the kit. So there's lots of different configurations. That's one of the great things about drum set. We can all set them up slightly different. But this is your basic setup. So, just to review, bass drum, snare drum, tom-toms, rack toms, and then the floor tom. Over here to my left, we have what is called the hi-hat. Now, the hi-hat's a really interesting instrument. We can play it with our foot on the pedal, and we can play the top of the hi-hat with sticks. The hi-hat, snare drum, and the bass drum are the three key instruments when playing a rock beat or a jazz beat, or really any kind of pop beat. So that would sound something like this. Here we have the crash cymbal. Notice it has a bright sound and it sustains. That cymbal just rings. And over here on the right-hand side is the ride cymbal. we use the ride cymbal much like we use the hi-hat when playing a beat. We can play it something like this. So in review, we have bass drum, snare drum, tom-toms, hi-hat, crash cymbal, and the ride cymbal. Now that we've covered the basic parts of the drum set, let's start talking about the sticks and how to hold our sticks, because there is a proper way. We want to get good technique from the beginning right here. So here we have our drum set. We have the butt end, we have the shaft, and we have the tip. When we hold the drumstick, we want to put our thumb flat to the drumstick with our pointer finger slightly wrapped around. We're not holding it like a fist. We got our thumb, the flat part of our thumb right there to the stick, pointer finger wrapped around. Notice here in the back, I've got a little room in my grip, right, for that stick to breathe. So we get both hands looking like that. So first thing we want to do is we want to go to what's called our ready position over top of the snare drum. My sticks are in a wedge shape. Think a slice of pizza, right? I'm right over top of the drum in a wedge. Now the first stroke we're going to learn is what's called the full stroke. And the full stroke is done like this. When we hit the drum, we don't want to swing from the elbow. We don't want to swing from the shoulder. We want that stroke to come from our wrist. It's very much like this motion, like you're knocking on the door. So if I take my stroke here, we're going to play the full stroke. I'm going to take my wrist. I'm going to turn it up. I'm going to point that stick at the ceiling. Now, when I come down and hit the drum, I want to feel that stick bounce off the drum and come back. I don't want to go down, lift, down, lift. No, I want to come down and let it bounce back to that full position. Notice here, I'm letting my grip is opened up so the stick can travel. Okay? It's just like bouncing a ball. When you bounce a ball, you don't take the ball, set it on the ground, pick it up, set it down. Okay? We just push. All you're doing is pushing. So here's that full stroke technique. I'll play what are called quarter notes. We're going to count those 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, as you do this, you want to pay attention to your hands. Make sure you're in that wedge shape. Okay? Palms are facing the floor. I've got a little space here between my ribs and my elbow. I'm not tucked in. Okay? I'm sitting up. Okay? I'm not stiff, but I'm not slouching over either. Okay? I'm sitting up, trying to make my two sticks sound like one. I don't want to make them go. That would be wrong. And I don't want to make it sound like a horse coming down the street. Right, we don't want to gallop. We want to make it tick, 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 tick. Nice and easy. Okay? That is called the full stroke. Now, the full stroke is a great tool for learning your rebound, for learning that bounce. We want to get that bounce. But when I go fast, it's not always practical. So, for instance, if I try and go fast, I can only go so fast because the stick is traveling a pretty far distance. So that brings us to our second technique, which is called the half stroke. Okay, so I take the same idea that I'm doing here, I'm in that ready position. Now, instead of taking my stick up to point at the ceiling, I'm going to keep it right about where it's at, about 8 inches off the top of the drum. Now I can play, and I'm letting that stick come back halfway up, but notice eventually you're going to be able to play much faster because I'm not bringing that stick up so high. So half stroke, full stroke. Now, I challenge you to work on this full stroke for a while. Okay? You want to just get this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See if you can do it for like a minute straight, 2 minutes straight without stopping, making it really smooth and really even. Okay? Now, this brings us to our last little piece for the day. We're going to learn 2 basic rudiments. Now, rudiments are like the building blocks of drumming. There are basic vocabulary. And some rudiments are easier than others. Today, we're going to learn 2 easy ones. The first one is singles. That's what we just played. Right, left, right, left. Again, you're going to repeat this. See if you can play it for a minute straight. So, what I like to do is count yourself in and try and keep a steady tempo or speed as you go. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Good. Notice I'm doing this as a half stroke. Okay? I'm not way up here. I mean, you can play it like this, but for right now we can go ahead and play this as a half stroke. So let's see if we can play this together. I'll play this for a little bit, and you can just play along with me. Okay? Here we go. Singles, right, left, right, left. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Easy. Now, if you want, you can try that a little faster. Let's try that a little faster. So we'll go about, how about, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our second rudiment is what are called doubles. Doubles are very simple. Right, right, left, left. Okay? Right, right, left, left. And again, we can count that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Over and over again. Let's try it slow. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, right, left, left. Right, right, left, left. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's try it a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Right, right, left, left. Right, right, left, left. Notice how I'm trying to keep my sticks very even. I'm trying to play roughly the center of the snare drum. Okay, if I play one stick over towards the rim and one in the middle, notice they sound different. Okay, it's going to be hard to make them sound the same because, right, the pitch of the drum changes as I move away from the middle or towards the rim. Okay, so what I would like you to practice this week is your full stroke, just singles, nice and slow, really trying to feel that rebound bounce. Okay, we want to let that come back. It's bouncing off the drum and coming back to vertical. Okay. Once you've worked on that for a while, just play regular singles as half strokes. Don't worry about going super fast. Just try and get it clean and even. And then you can up your speed, but you're always trying to keep it clean and even. Okay? And then lastly, you can work on right, right, left, left, which will be your second rudiment. I'll attach a little worksheet with these on here. You can print that off if you like. We'll be learning more rudiments in our next lessons. So let's try something fun before we're done for the day. This is a little game I like to play. It's called Call and Response. Here's how it works. I'm going to play something on the drums, and then you're going to play what I play back. Let's try a little example of that. So this would be my drum, and this would be your drum. Watch this. Okay? Call and response. And that's a really fun game. You can play that with yourself. If you have two drums, you can just do what we did. Just copy yourself. Well, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you can, send me a message on the group classroom, and feel free to upload videos of you playing, and I will review them and comment on them and get back to you. I would love to hear you playing your full strokes and half strokes and your singles and double rudiments. All right, have a great week. Happy drumming.